So today was the fourth quarter Tesla earnings call where Elon Musk, Zach Kirkhorn, and someone else who I don't know explained the announced and explained, took questions from analysts and industry experts on the Paul has posted the phrase tulip mania. They took calls, and of course this is broadcast to anyone who wants to sit through and listen to it. Tesla stock was back up to 580 today, and in after hours trading it has zoomed up to 650 and change.
So it closed at 580.99, and the peak tonight was 651.59.
Is it going back down?
Oh, sorry, 654.04.
It took a jump when their financial letter came out, and then took another jump during the conference call.
Yep. As of this moment, it's at 649.30.
Which we're going to argue about right now. So I want to open this up rather than talk over everyone else. Did anybody get anything especially interesting from the call or from the commentary on the call?
They've wasted yet another question on that 18650 CAN issue that they've gone over every quarter since the 2170s came out.
Right.
Elon, basically, he stopped short of saying that it's the same chemistry inside both cans. He went right up to that line and didn't touch it.
What I'm impressed with is that Tesla seems to have learned the lesson of under-promise and over-deliver. It'll pay off in spades if you do it that way as opposed to the other way. Yes. And it appears they're on the right track when it comes to this type of promising.
Don't
you think someone finally sat Elon down and said, okay, people are growing tired of Elon time. People are growing tired of Elon promises. Stick to reality. And yeah, I mean, I did not expect the Model Y announcements that I heard today.
Yeah, I hear it's going to ship like next week or something.
I heard that mine is already in my garage.
Production starts today, and the first models will be shipped in March.
Okay.
By March.
So, is promising Model Y under-promising and over-delivering?
Yes, because that thing came out 10 months ago as a prototype, and here it is getting ready to go on sale.
Well, that's sort of my point.
Yeah.
No, okay.
It is. I mean, because like everybody was expecting that when they first did it, they were thinking end of the year, and then they moved it up to summer, and now they're talking end of spring.
Listen, I have a reputation as a Tesla hater, and I got to feed it here, or the people on Twitter won't have anything to talk shit about me. You know what I mean?
Drink. So everybody get ready to drink.
Yeah, you guys have to really kick it up a notch, okay? So I can react to something.
Right, but and I will say that is really only the more recent and maybe not seasoned what drives us viewers, because we have been rooting for Tesla from the very beginning, just also calling out where we think they've stumbled or where Elon has made ill decisions. But that's not to say that we hate it. Russell doesn't hate Tesla.
No, I hate Elon Musk. So I don't hate Tesla. I love Tesla. I wish somebody else would take over Tesla.
Dude, I was shoveling as fast as I could.
I don't know.
I had to throw some gas on that fire.
Be a good thing for the company right now. But so one of the questions that they posed to Elon was they tried to hold him to the fire about his maybe kind of full self-drive by the end of the year promise, and he's like, I didn't promise that. and then he went on to say that they actually do have made progress, but we can't see it yet. So hopefully the beta testers in the next couple months, he says, will get the code to try out so that we can then try it out en masse.
Something that makes Paul's very legitimate douchey complaint about Lexus just seem tiny in comparison is Elon stumbling and stuttering through a feature complete, and for those of you listening and not watching, I made the little quotation marks in there, feature complete FSD. So now we actually have another gradation of FSD.
Actually, feature complete was mentioned in the last two times as well. Yeah. So it's not something new today.
But it didn't have a definition. It did
have a definition. It did have a definition previously. Yeah.
if you are a software developer, you know what it means. It certainly doesn't mean that it's ready to ship. It just means you have all the major components in there working to a level that they can be tested.
Sort of mostly work.
Yeah, but the discrepancy was that he was saying that it would be in the public beta by now, not in the internal betas, and that's what they were trying to nail him on.
Right.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't want them to ship something like that before it's ready.
No,
So,
some idiot's going to crash the car, and then Senator
Exactly,
Markey and
yeah.
the others are going to be all over it.
Wait. If it's FSD, how can an idiot crash the car?
Because you still got to watch it, and they're going to see FSD, and they're going to
Well, then it's
check
not
out.
FSD. Can we all agree on that?
Well, there's still
what level
liability.
is it?
There's still
Level
liability.
1,
Right.
level 5.
That's
Where
level
is
2.
it?
Level 2.
Elon's already been very clear that FSD is level 5. Right?
Right, but feature complete autopilot until they have, until they
right.
It's
level
4.3.
level 2, 2 and change maybe, but like he's saying that go get in your car, go from
I have
home
a
to work,
Camry with
no
level
interventions, with no interventions from home to work.
That's like level 5 or 4.
Well, you still got to be there to hold the wheel, so that if something happens, you
So
can-
that's now you're 2.
It is still 2. It is still 2.
Right.
it
Would
won't
it
be 5. It
require
won't be
supervision?
5 until next year.
And he had
Hopefully.
even indicated with feature complete full self-drive was that there would be hopefully no interactions, but the driver would be there to have control of the vehicle and guard against an issue.
And that one's for
So
the
it was never level 5.
Yeah.
It was always the driver
robotaxi.
would be responsible to keep
Do I need to
control
pull
of
for
car.
the next show the Elon quotes the multiple times that he has said FSD is level 5?
That's Robotaxi, and that will be a year from feature complete to the public.
I will. Get
He
those-
says, allegedly.
I will accept that as a challenge.
Okay.
That's all
Yeah,
I got. You guys talk.
The quote
they-
that
just a
I
hint.
thought was interesting. Let me jump in on a different topic. Was we mentioned the battery chemistry stuff earlier. One of the things that they said on the call was that they have been improving the batteries that go into the S and X, but they have not had the time or done the requirements to update the EPA range, and that it's actually higher than what they have on their website today, and that they'll do the EPA re-rating soon. So it'll be interesting to see what the actual EPA rated range is of the cars that they're shipping now.
Yeah, because they did that 3-mile bump last time they mentioned this. I'm curious myself.
Hey, Russell,
So they had
I got this for you. Does that count?
that's
No, that
different.
doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
It's not. It doesn't say feature complete FSD. No, I don't. I'm just. It
So,
doesn't matter. It's,
They had $1 billion of revenue. That was pretty cool.
Right. And see, and all of this is great stuff. The Model Y is coming out. The Model X, the Model 3 is kicking some ass. All of this is great stuff. It's just stop talking about this other thing and focus on the fact that people are now being swayed to electric vehicles, that Tesla's crushing the competition and scaring the crap out of established car manufacturers. Focus on that part and not focus on the other stuff that might still be in the pipeline.
Yeah, they had a nice chart where they showed the fuel efficiency of the Model Y versus everything else in its class, and it was incredible. Like it's
Yeah, no
shoulders
doubt.
above. Yeah.
Right.
The
right.
reason this stays on
And how much
people's
profit
minds-
did they make last quarter?
They made a profit again.
How
Yeah.
much?
Hang on, let me pull the chart.
69 million. I don't remember what the number was. Look it up. Yeah.
$69. They made a profit.
And how much profit
It does-
did General Motors make and Ford?
Yeah.
How many
you
EVs
can-
did General Motors and Ford sell?
Yeah, we've had this discussion. I mean, you can say Barnes and Noble made a lot more than Amazon in 1997, and it just doesn't matter.
yeah, but I think where that analogy breaks down is that both of these is that it's a different comparison because of the trajectory. Tesla's making a small number of cars and making very little money on them.
So
Is that fair? Is that accurate?
105 million gap net.
20%?
They're making a profit while they're building new factories, while they're building out their network, while they're developing new products. and being profitable.
As is every other company on the planet.
Yep, and
Every other car
386
company
million
is building
non.
new products and making new factories. Tesla's not
Well,
an innovator.
No, they're not making new factories.
Not at the size of Tesla, they're not.
Oh, I'm sorry, they're not Giga.
No, not at the size of Tesla as a company. Investing that type of money into new factories and new lines is not done typically by a company of Tesla's size.
Yeah, Ford hasn't done it for 100 years.
Yeah, we do have to look at
that's
percentages
comparison.
too, right? I mean, the percentage of growth of Tesla, because it's small, the growth percentage is substantially larger than the established companies.
And they said they're going to do it again next year and then over the next 10 years. So the year over year, they expect to be the same. And then
that's
10 year over 10
that's
year.
why the stock price is so crazy when we look at it from the outside, is that Wall Street's looking at potential income over the future, not today.
Yeah,
Patrick.
and then the energy department has finally started to show for itself now that they are no longer Solar City.
Patrick, as a stockholder, do you have any concerns that Tesla might be overbuilding capacity?
No. In fact, right now, one of the reasons that they're not shipping the Semi is because they would have to take that would be 10 or 12 cars they could not build. And so the same thing applies to the People Mover that they could be working on. So they have a lot of things that they... We've had this discussion in the past where it's like, oh, do they really need a whole separate factory? And then it turns out that they had growth. And if they had not done that, which we thought maybe was too ambitious at that time, it would have been, they'd be way behind and constrained at this point. So I do not have concerns about their ability to continue to grow for the factories that they have currently planned.
Yeah, plus
Fair
it's
enough.
building their two best products, or what anticipated the second product will be, the Model Y
high
and the
volume.
Model 3. Yeah.
And then, Tony, back to your comment about here's the places that they're doing well. They should just mind their knitting and stop talking about the other stuff. I'm going to call BS on that, because that one of the reasons that this company is exciting and does get all the free marketing is that they have ambitious goals. And maybe they don't achieve them. Maybe they achieve them late. Maybe they pivot on some and take them in new directions because their initial plan couldn't be realized. But that's okay. The fact that they have that ambitious goal is what gives we talked about them being a mission-driven company. They have this vision for autonomous, electric, moving all cars on the road to be battery powered, moving the entire industry that direction, having safer vehicles. So I say go for it.
I certainly agree with you. I mean, I do. I looking in the future, it's just, and we've said it from the very beginning. We've never liked the term autopilot. We've never liked the term full self-drive. I just feel that too much emphasis is put on the concept of full self-drive, and we've said it's not 100% there. And it
have you read the
serves
FAA's definition of autopilot?
That's where I was going.
Yeah, because if you read it, it talks about how that frees up the pilot to then have greater awareness. It doesn't say that you just walk away and forget about it. So I've never had a problem with autopilot. When we had Niedermeyer on the show, he was talking about how horrible of a name it was, and I still disagree.
Right. What percentage of the population do you think has read the FAA's definition of autopilot?
My fault that it's not their fault that the public doesn't know how to use a dictionary.
Yes, it is. If
Oh
you
my
communicate ambiguously to deceive, that is their fault.
But
I'm not even saying that they're
it matches.
intentionally deceiving.
I am.
Well, I know you are.
Well, then-
Tesla and Elon and everything.
Then why does it have all these things that the driver nags and things to get your attention back to make sure that you're not goofing off?
I don't like the word full.
Tesla has one of the weakest driver monitoring systems on the road.
Well, full self
True or false?
is not complete yet.
Who has
Thank you.
something better?
So Casey agrees
feature
with me,
complete.
it's not complete yet.
Well, that's full self-drive. So they're selling you a full self-drive computer and package, but they're not telling you the features on. When you click it and add it to your cart, it says this isn't ready yet, and we don't know when. And I saw, what was it, Hyundai? Hyundai is just this week at their driver monitoring. It's the same torque on the wheel thing.
Hyundai doesn't have autopilot.
They do.
Full self-drive.
Not full self-drive, but they do have they don't have Elon Musk. They do have the where it keeps in the lane, wobbly.
Right. So does the Camry.
Other
But
companies call it driver assist or co-pilot or something that's a little more.
Pro-pilot,
When you
Super
read the
Cruise.
When you read the definition of autopilot, it says this is not a pilotless plane. It's not a autonomous plane.
As Joe Blow consumer, I hear autopilot's like, hey, I'm going to go get a drink in the back lobby and the vehicle's going to drive itself.
But when
How
we
much
first
token
introduced
join?
autopilot back in the 50s, it was just regular cruise control.
Right. But again, I think that's out of context, Casey. I mean,
Yeah, right. So see, Patrick, this is all I'm talking about. Tesla had an amazingly positive call today. The stock price is jumping more than we've seen it jump in its entire history. And we're hung up on the phrase full self-drive.
No,
see it.
you're hung on that phrase.
Right. Okay. I know. Right. The 3 Tesla owners are saying get over it, and the rest of us who are trying to represent the other 97% of the population are saying maybe this is a detractor.
And I'm hung up on the stock price because
Well,
it just
semi-
can't
it's
keep
insane.
going and
Cybertruck
going and
or-
going. I mean, at some point, they've got to match the earnings, and everyone else is catching up. And anyway, just if those of you haven't read about Tulip Mania from the 1600s, where the
Did you
price
read
of a single tulip bulb became like the value of a house,
Mhm.
and then the market crashed, and it was the first
Didn't
financial.
it crash because somebody took a Tesla on the steps of the bank and they stepped on it and said it's just a plant?
listen, we don't have to go back 4 centuries to Holland. We have to go back to 2009 and look at the
Yeah,
real
or-
estate bubble.
2002 or the tech. the tech bubble.
2006, 1999, 2002. There's lots of bubbles, but I mean, the real estate bubble was huge and it devastated our economy.
Well, certainly, I don't think anyone on this panel would say that we would advise you to invest all your money in Tesla.
Oh,
Like,
no.
we
And that's
do not want to do that. And you're right. There is an issue, Paul, that this could collapse somewhat. It could collapse in half. It could go beyond that. In fact, we've seen that happen most recently when it dropped to 170. So there are moves and undulations with the stock market, and whether or not Tesla is going to follow those or not, or follow the path of maybe what Amazon did, nobody knows. It's a future that we cannot predict. Otherwise, we wouldn't be on this show. We'd be living in the Caribbean on our own private island.
Yeah.
So
That's Patrick
so-
in like 2 weeks.
that's
Where do you think?
so there is that. So
Yeah.
I would say that whether or not you choose to invest in Tesla, make sure you know what you're doing if you're going to do it,
And
are comfortable
diversify
with the
your
bet that you
investments.
make.
Oh yeah, always.
Don't put all
Just
your
to-
eggs.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
just to be
the Model
clear,
X.
Mark, you don't really know where I am, and this is just a
Yeah,
back.
I know where you are, Tony. You are not in the Caribbean. I
Yeah,
guarantee
he's on an
it.
island that's like a boring.
So this price is based on forward looking. So they see that Model Y is getting ready to be produced around the world. They see that the Model 3 just had all of these orders without very many of them being pre-orders. They see that the solar roof is finally getting deployed at scale. They see that the
You brought up
battery
solar roof? You mean solar
They-
glass, right?
solar glass, yes. They see that the batteries are being deployed. They see that the solar retrofit is finally taking off. They Cybertruck, Roadster, Semi are making progress. So you're pricing it based on the future. You're not pricing it on now, because that's when, like you said, where all these comparisons to GM, to Ford, to whoever come up. But where do you see them going in the future? You see them, if they don't get their act together and get the freaking electric cars off of the back lot with the flat tires and the not charged, if they don't get their stuff together, they're going away.
I don't think anybody, I understand why you say what you say, Casey, but I want to tell you, I don't think anybody at Ford or VW or
Oh, the
Fiat
manufacturers,
or
right,
any
it's
of
the
those
dealers.
any of those companies really are all that concerned about going away because Tesla's going to kill them. Any
Right.
more than
and the
Tesla.
people at Kodak weren't concerned about going away because they were the behemoth. Even when Canon and Nikon came out, they were like, nobody wants that stuff.
It was worse than that. Canon invented the digital camera. Threw it away.
Kodak.
Right.
Kodak.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, that's what I meant. Kodak. Yeah, sorry.
Right, the D1. Absolutely. But that one example does not necessarily invalidate my argument.
You still hear, we just saw multiple CEOs talking about how electric cars are not the future. People aren't going to need that for another 20 years. There are definitely going to be there's going to be some carnage in the industry.
Sure.
Yeah.
That kind of leads us into another story that we have for tonight, and I just thought I'd preface it here, just since we're basically talking about it, and that is GM with some large investments into the electric car arena. They're investing $2.3 billion in a battery plant with LG in Ohio. They are investing another $2 billion in Hamtramck, a downtown Detroit manufacturing plant.
Can we call that a gigafactory then?
They built
If
our,
you want.
they built our Volts.
If you want.
Please don't call anything a giga.
What we've got is we've got GM saying, we don't know if they will come through with this, but they're saying that the Hamtramck plant will produce nothing but EVs going forward. They're saying that there's going to be 20-some models produced in Hamtramck, starting with a pickup, a full-size pickup, which is rumored to be a Hummer. And if you're watching the Super Bowl this weekend, there's going to be an ad about it, apparently. They're hinting heavily on that. So watch your Super Bowl commercials.
Is it a Cyber Hummer?
There could be a Cyber Hummer available.
No.
They're saying that the production of the vehicle will be in late 2021. And the VP had indicated he doesn't know if they'll be first to market with the pickup truck, but it will be arriving in late 2021.
Okay,
And then-
spoiler
and then
alert.
Lincoln
No, they won't.
And then Lincoln just partnered again with Rivian on building something.
So some manufacturers are starting to wake up, and some have already been bitten. If you go to Europe and you look at what the Model 3 has eaten into some of those luxury brands' sales, there's a big difference than what was happening 2 years ago than what's happening today.
Yeah.
How much
I want
money?
to say I've got a couple of Bolts for sale on my lot right now. Bolt EV, sorry.
Yes.
And the drivability, the build quality, they're really nice cars.
Yeah.
And that's like their first kick at the can. And if they're throwing engineers at it and factories, it's not going to take too long for companies like GM with the resources they have to maybe not catch up to Tesla, but to get closer to them.
Right.
And that's going to affect Tesla.
It's probably about their fourth version, though, Paul.
Yes.
You know, they did have the EV1, they did have a Spark, they did have a Volt,
Pair
and
of
now
Volts.
a Bolt. So
But as
the
far
next
as, like,
generation,
a high-range EV.
the
But
next
then
one will be the truck, and that's going to be the test for them. How much will the truck cost? How far will the truck go? How will the truck charge? All those things are going to be questions for this new release.
Yeah.
How can this guy whose job it is to follow the market know that Rivian has a truck and then say 2021 they might be first to market? How can he possibly say that?
He said he doesn't know if they will be first to market.
I know that they won't.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not even a question.
But he doesn't want to look bad in front of the investors.
All right, whatever.
But at the same time, though, I mean, look at Porsche, look at Audi, look at Jaguar. They had years to catch up to the 2012 Model S and even the Model 3, and they haven't done it. Like, they come out, their fuel economy is incredibly poor. The range is ridiculously low.
but as Paul was saying, Casey, those are companies that it was their first kick at the can. It were companies that produced the model, discovered its shortcomings, and hopefully, if they stay in the game, will get better.
Nissan still won't put a fan on their
at least
battery.
has done it a number of times, and their versions have gotten better. And I would say with every iteration, they've gotten better.
Oh yeah,
And I will say,
GM gets better every year. They do.
Tesla's been focusing on nothing but EVs for 10 years solid.
Right.
I mean, we know that. So
16?
it's not right since I mean
Yeah,
their
2008.
IPO was well the farthest that the ticker goes back is June 2nd, 2010. So it's not proper to compare someone's 10-year product to someone else's first or second iteration.
Sure it is.
But when they
If
come
you're
out
there to
screaming
buy
how
a
they're going
car,
to beat them.
Yeah, you're looking at okay, what's available today from this vendor or that vendor. You don't care what version it is. You care which is the better product.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't compare them, except that they did it themselves. They're like, oh, we're going to beat the Tesla. We're going to beat the Tesla. Or they let the article come out. Oh, Tesla killer, Tesla killer. I mean, so
well,
if you
we
don't...
already hate that.
Whether or not they're comparing him, they are, as Patrick has mentioned, the consumer will compare them at all times. It doesn't matter. If you're spending your own money on a product, you want to be pretty well assured that you're getting the best bang for your buck. Not many people will spend money on a car not knowing anything about it or the competition. If they do that, then they're stupid. Or they have too much money. One or the other.
Consumers have a idea that if the car breaks, they can take it somewhere and get it fixed.
Yes.
And with all the cars Tesla's moving and their piss poor service network and their inability to work with independent shops, that's going to bite them in the ass when these things start breaking. So
Absolutely.
And I don't think they're trying that hard to correct that because, I can get parts for Chevy or Toyota or Ford or whatever. It's really hard to get Tesla parts.
I think you're going to be the new Tesla hater, Paul. Thank you.
I love the cars. I just think the stock's overvalued, and I'm not a fan of how they work with independent repair shops. And they're going to have to get on board.
I would agree with you to the extent that I'm shocked that Tesla hasn't seen more blowback from service.
It's incredible they haven't, yeah.
Well, and people are still drinking the Kool-Aid.
Well, no, I mean, I think they're taking care of a small group that's putting on a lot of positive buzz, and I think they're kind of not doing as well with another group that's not as good at getting that message out. But it's definitely an issue. It's definitely an issue. They can't be a mainstream car maker and not address that adequately. People expect to be able to get these things fixed in a timely manner.
And have the
they are
choice
making
of
investments
where
in
they
it.
get their car fixed. It's one thing if it's a warranty issue. Everybody knows if it's under warranty, you go to the dealer. But these cars are starting to come off warranty. And, you hear stories about people having to spend $8,000 for the MMU or what, I forget whatever the processor is that
MCU, the EMM, the EMMC,
and that's ridiculous.
In fact, I have two friends in my clubs that are going through theirs right now. I think both are out of warranty.
Right.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, it's expensive. But I mean, they are making investments. They increase their supercharger network. They are adding service centers left and right. They do need to work.
Service.
Superchargers and service. They do need to work better, like Paul said, with your local mechanic. I mean, outside of Massachusetts, where it's required by law.
Conception that the average consumer has is if you go to the dealer outside of warranty, you're going to get ripped off.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, as a Tesla owner, when you're out of warranty, you really don't have a choice. Where there's maybe 3 shops in the country that sort of can work on your car, but you can't go to the neighborhood guy to work on your car.
Right.
So again, that they got to correct that because it's going to bite them in the ass. So Elon, if you're watching our show, figure out how to sell me parts.
Oh, sorry, Elon. No, really.
So has anyone bothered inviting Elon on the show? Just asking for a friend. Okay.
No.
Maybe we should get on that.
No.
We could do the show in Colorado and give him a bag of weed.
I think
there you go.
He's more into ecstasy, isn't he? I don't think weed's his thing. I mean, I know.
Let's not start new rumors.
Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
The lawyer's calling. Yes, they allegedly wrestled.
Yes.
Allegedly? Oh, he didn't. He didn't smoke dope on video camera?
Well, there was that, but you said another
You
drug.
said another.
Oh,
drug.
I said
Yeah,
I heard.
say
I heard.
Allegedly heard.
No, I heard. It may be an allegation, but I heard it. How's that?
Yeah, so let's not invite him on with that going on, because hopefully he's learned that lesson.
Yeah. I have no interest. I can hear him talk constantly. He is one of the most visible CEOs on the planet. Anybody want to argue that point?
No.
Okay.
I did finally watch that podcast from his house. That was
Yeah. Now,
interesting.
if you want to talk about like, would I love to have some Tesla engineers on the show? Hell yeah. I would love that conversation.
I want some
ex-employees.
Lexus engineers and be like, what the hell are you thinking?
Love that too.
That's
Really.
the marketing guys. They're the.
What's up with
The
the
ones that need to get
touchpad?
that.
Can you guys just let that go?
And why do you have to pay to use your remote start after you've already
Yes.
bought it?
Right.
I think you get the first 2 or 3 years free, and then they start charging you.
Well,
Still.
it's to get you hooked, my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first taste is free. After that, it costs you.
So speaking of downloads, that was one of their key enhancements for the quarter. It was you could buy a speed boost, or you could pay monthly for your premium internet connectivity. $9.99.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we had a whole bunch of other news tonight, and guess what we talked about?
None of it. Well, almost none of it.
Right.
Mark brilliantly
I snuck mine in.
got his story
You
in.
did.
And I was more than happy to see you do that, Mark. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was nicely done, sir. But I think that's about all we have time for. So does anybody, I don't want to end it. Would everyone like a last word on the Tesla thing? Should we go around the horn, as it were?
All right, one sentence. Everyone around the horn. One sentence.
Patrick.
I'm ecstatic with the stock performance.
Paul Guzik.
Invest in Tesla like you're going to Vegas.
Casey Green.
Hey, I just got my update, and I've been trying out the Autopilot full self-drive preview, and it's changed. I won't say it's better or worse, but it's changed. Video coming soon.
There you go. Mark Coughlin.
I'd say there's nothing but blue sky ahead of Tesla at this point.
I hope you're right. And I got nothing. I just don't. I don't care about this. I aggressively don't care about the stock. I am happy for my friends that are making money on it. I am sad for the people that will inevitably get hosed on it, or maybe not. Maybe they deserve it.
And the ignored one in Chicago.
We'll get there.
You were just next.
Oh,
Go ahead, Tony.
I agree with Patrick and Mark. For 10 years, we've seen the promise of Tesla. We've seen the promise of an all EV company. We wanted people to see that electric vehicles is the future. And I think people are starting to jump on board. We see wait lists for electric vehicles like we never thought would be possible when we started this show 10 years ago. I am thrilled to see Tesla getting traction and growing. I hope it's sustainable. I hope it's not hype and overpromise. And yes, we rib them and we jump on them. And yes, I scrutinize. I don't like the full self-drive thing, but I am excited to see Tesla coming to fruition. And that was one sentence, I promise.
Yeah, absolutely. I got that.
No, I mean, the one thing we can all agree is it's awakened the general public on that EVs are real and they're here. And I think that's
right.
And I would definitely reinforce what Tony said. We all of us here want to see more clean vehicles out being driven and fewer ICE vehicles. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
So I don't care where they come from. I very much don't care where they come from. And if Tesla's going to be the leader, then I want them to lead.